It's a boat. We got all things rolling right now.
Boat, helicopter,
Car, people.
trucks, cars,
Yeah.
people, birds.
Yep. Alright. Rolling.
Cool. A time capsule casket closed containing all the words I ever spoken. I wonder if anyone would care enough to dig it up in 10 years.
I feel like any young artist who's trying to do anything artistically, whether it be music or poetry or painting or anything else, you know, we often get this question of like, what are you going to do when you're 30?
What are you going to do when you're older? Is this going to pay off? Is there any money in this? How are you going to keep doing this? Like, I know it's cool. Like, I want you to be yourself, but I mean, you know, what are you going to do? What's your future going to be?
Last year I was on tour and I was selling the 7-inch that I pressed last year, and I was looking at the 7-inch and I was thinking, I wonder if anybody is going to pick this thing up and spin it when I'm 30 in 10 years. And then I thought, what if I quit doing this altogether? What if I stopped doing spoken word right here at this moment and just went and, you know, started preparing to be 30? And I thought, you know,
In 10 years from now, if one person is listening to that record, then, you know, who gives a fuck what I'm doing when I'm 30? It's weird to think about everything pure will eventually be relevant, even if the artist isn't here for it. You can die as a failure but future figure because whatever current culture couldn't comprehend it.
I feel like if, you know, the art scene has shown us anything in the history of art is that a lot of times if people generate something that's pure and something that's super honest to them and they get zero recognition while they're making it, that later on in the future, hopefully, you know, somebody will look at it and actually admire it for what it was. But unfortunately, this curse that we have makes it so that a lot of times we're not there to see that people appreciate it, you know, whether, you know, it happened after we die or whether it was generated in a project that's no longer together. And I think that that's just this like bittersweetness of this whole industry is like, am I even speaking to the culture that's going to be able to comprehend the things that I'm saying? Or is it in the past, or will it be in the future? And I mean, that's the biggest gamble you can take.
It's a poet's curse, and it only gets worse the more open to your words, AD. Like a convertible hearse. The most underground artist is the one that's buried in his dirt, and has always felt buried under the pressure of the world. Being an underground artist is more than just not being recognized for whatever you're doing. It's literally feeling like what you're doing is underground. It's pushing something that's, you know, 80 feet out and 6 feet down from wherever society wants you to be, and you look to the left and you look to the right and there's two people trying to do the exact same thing you're doing, and they're both dead, and you're thinking, is that going to be me if I keep pushing this? But we just keep going, we keep generating, and I feel like we constantly put that pressure of the world on our back until hopefully, eventually, we're no longer underground. Because we're all in debt to serve good deeds, we're all in debt financially, we're in the depths of being destined to die, but we're born to live, so we live to leave. I owe the bank a ton of money, and I owe favors to all of my family and all my friends who have helped me get on shows and help me get on tour and, you know, do whatever I can to help sustain, you know, whatever I'm trying to do, or help push the message of whatever I'm currently trying to convey. And I feel the debt building up, both in money and both in favors to everybody else around me.
And I just can't wait to pay it off. Because a lot of people are born to live, but people like me are born to get the fuck out. Born to go. At least for now.
Because we'd rather be elsewhere. Fuck it, I'd rather be someone else. And I'll leave my environment before I let it define myself. I'll take the landscape goat that forever defines my fate. The freeway leads to the grave. It's all downhill from here if I'm not roadkill on the way. Back in the day when I was first touring, I was told by a close friend of mine about, we were talking about just like the statistics of like what vessels you can die in more than others. We were talking about how human beings are already statistically higher for dying in a car. And how, you know, me and him, we'll go for 3 weeks and put 12,000 miles on the dash and, you know, come home, and we were reflecting on how, statistically speaking, we are higher rate of dying than already the fifth way of dying, or whatever it is, than everybody else. And so I think about how we're pushing something where the odds are already against us. And then now our odds of dying trying to do these things where the odds are against us are even smaller than that. It's like, damn, this future, this pushing this thing, it's all downhill from here, unless we die trying to make it. I chase my dreams because my nightmares chase me. And the terror of being forgotten is haunting. Oftentimes I'm left wondering if the world will ever know. Will I get a chance or make no change, like putting a ghost on death row? I prayed to the 8-ball God and all I got was try again later. But I don't think I will because I fear the word no more than my deathbed. And I don't like the odds of a future in this being pretend, because they're not my favor, like 5 in the chamber in my head playing reverse Russian roulette. But what else do I fucking have?
I mean, what else do I have? I feel like everything that I think and all my energy that I put into my artistic ability is pushed through this, and I don't really have much else. And as time goes by, I just keep on focusing on the one thing. Because the thing you learn about people who constantly travel and they constantly push their band, or whatever the fuck they're doing, whatever the fuck is worth creating and trying to push to the point where nothing else is gonna matter, obviously just doesn't have anything else. And if you think about that in that retrospect, if you think about all the artists that you look up to or all the artists that are around and try to figure out which ones this is all that they have, then you start to think about art, and you start to think about creation, you start to think about how people spend their time a little bit differently. Because for me, currently, this is all I have, and this is all I want.